What is up, car addicts? In this video we'll be talking about this week's Halloween double money event week, as well as the property and vehicle discounts. This event week is for October 21st through October 27th, 2021. And the first thing I want to mention is that the Halloween content is now live, so the Lurcher, Frankenstein, and the Sanctus are back available for purchase for those of you who don't own them. Halloween clothing, UFO business battles, UFO event sighting, which is now in Sandy Shores, a brand new arcade game called Camheads, the brand new Phantom car event, which is inspired by the movie Christine, where a car chases you down the street and tries to kill you, and much more. Just a very awesome event week we have this week. But anyways, the current prize ride for this week is the Dinka RT3000. So this car is primarily based on the famous Honda S2000. So to get this car for free, you have to place top 4 in 8 Pursuit Series races, so definitely a bit more races than usual, but still not too bad as they didn't put back the annoying back-to-back days in a row thing. Also remember that the Pursuit Series races need a minimum of 4 players to start, but honestly, a minimum of 4th place is pretty easy to get. But if you're still having trouble, linked above is a shortcut guide my friend Edab and I made for Pursuit Series races. Now, this car is in the sports class and isn't very quick in that class or in the tuner subclass either, sadly, but it's still something you own that's really cool for the styling, customization, and stuff like that, and I think Rockstar did a phenomenal job with that car. Now, this one has a normal price of $1.7 million and a trade price of about $1.3 million, so definitely a very expensive car that you can get for about an hour of work this week. Now, in terms of the test drive vehicles for this week, we have the Warner HKR, the Karen Previon, and the Annis Remus. Now, in terms of the casino podium vehicle, we have the Peyote Gasser. Now, this vehicle is primarily based on a custom 1955 Ford Thunderbird Gasser. It normally costs about $800,000, which is pretty expensive for a muscle car. Now, in terms of performance, it's not really too great, and honestly, there's better muscle cars out there in the muscle car class, but it's still a pretty fun vehicle to own. Now, is the Peyote Gasser worth attempting to win by spinning the lucky wheel over and over this week? Well, I think it's a pretty cool car, but honestly, it's not really necessary unless you really like it. So, starting off with the property discounts, we have 30% off the casino penthouse, as well as the upgrades and renovations for it as well. So if you don't own one yet, or have always wanted to, now's your chance. Also, the decorations for the casino penthouse are also on sale as well, for those of you who want to redecorate your penthouse, or just acquire more pieces in general. Moving on to the vehicle discounts, we have 40% off the Hellion. So this one is a pretty fun off-roader with good customization as well. However, even at this discount, I wouldn't say it's entirely worth $500K, but it's still a very cool vehicle. Next up, we have 30% off the Hellfire. So this, of course, in the muscle car class is based on the famous Challenger Hellcat widebody mixed with the Dodge Demon. It has one of the highest top speeds in that class, but as to be expected, it doesn't really handle as well as the top muscle cars, which really makes it suffer a bit. But honestly, at this price, I think it's still a great buy, especially if you don't own one already. Moving along, we have 30% off the Car 4x4. So this truck, of course, being based on the famous Ford Raptor, just a very cool vehicle in the off-roads class for off-roading on different paths. However, the front hitbox is pretty low for some reason, so keep that in mind as you can get stuck on some obstacles quite a bit. Next up, we have 40% off the Desert Raid. Now, this vehicle and the trophy truck are some of the top off-roaders for off-road races, if you exclude the BF400 and the Sanchez, obviously, which are usable in off-road races. Now, the trophy truck and the Desert Raid are mainly used in those sort of deep water off-road races with intense off-road paths and all that type of stuff, but now, the Desert Raid still remains to be number 1 on my off-road capability testing track and is still the overall best off-roader in the game, followed very closely by the trophy truck. Moving along, we have 40% off the Lurcher. So this, of course, is the muscle car hearse made from the Buccaneer with the Frankenstein in the back coming out of the coffin. Just very cool. But honestly, if you can, I would hold off on buying this one as it's supposed to be on the casino podium next week, so definitely wait for that if you want to save 400,000. Moving on to the Warstock website, we have 40% off the Zaba. So this of course is the crazy off-roader that can drive on water, plus it has some decent armor as well. But honestly, even at its discounted price, it's still $1 million and something you really have to think about before buying. I personally never use mine, but I know there's some players that still do. In terms of weapon discounts, we have 50% off the laser weapons in game. I'm sure most of you own these already, but if you don't, now you can get them at half price. In terms of login items, you can get this baseball bat t-shirt for free just for logging in this week, and this very cool Republican Space Rangers livery for your Combat S2, which I think is just awesome. In terms of double money, we have double money NRP on Alien Survivals, and for those of you who probably noticed, where are the rest of the survivals? Well, Rockstar temporarily hid them, and of course they always add them back in depending on the event week. Next up, we have double money NRP on the Halloween themed adversary modes, so those are the Bunker Slasher, Come Out to Play, Condemned, Diamond Slasher, Missile Base Slasher, and the original Slasher as well. So just super awesome that these are back and they're a ton of fun to do with friends. And lastly, we have double money NRP on business battles, which is quite random, but according to Tez on Twitter, you can get some really cool items for the business battles this week, like a green glow necklace and green checked round shades as well. Moving on to the Prime Gaming discounts for Prime Gaming members only. I'll leave instructions in the pinned comment on how to become a Prime Gaming member if you aren't one already. So we finally have new ones after a month of the same old ones. So we have 70% off the Z-Type. So this car is in the Sports Classics class. Until this day, it being an OG car, it still has the highest top speed in the Sports Classics class, which is honestly pretty impressive. Next up, we have 100% off the LCK Sanctus, making it absolutely free for this week, which is just awesome. This of course is the Ghost Rider inspired bike, just a very cool one to own even though it's not that fast. And lastly, we have 70% off the Bersa Jet. I'm sure most of you remember this jet when the Flight School update came out. It was the only sort of fast jet we could own back then. Again, this is before the Hydra and all that stuff. Very nostalgic for sure, and I think it's a pretty good price for what you're getting. Also remember that just for logging in this week as a Prime Gaming member, you'll get a free $100,000 as usual. Again guys, if you don't see the discounts on the vehicles, I mention this because you don't have your Prime Gaming account linked to your social club. Again, all the information on how to do that is down below in the pinned comment. And lastly, we have of course the RC Bandito time trial Vespucci Beach. This week's normal time trial is Raton Canyon. I highly recommend either the Hakuchu Drag, Shotaro, or a Batty 801 for that time trial. And this week's premium race is the Supercar Race Senora Freeway. I highly recommend either the Vest 8, Emirates, or Krieger for that race. Every Friday I post a guide on how to easily beat the time trials and premium race, so stay tuned for that if you're new. Anyways guys, hope this was helpful. This event week is honestly very good in my opinion because of the variety of different things you can do, plus the fact that it's themed around Halloween. Just a very good overall event week that I think Rockstar did a great job with, all things considering. Next week should remain pretty much the same with probably just the podium and prize right changed, but I guess we'll see. Anyways guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.